Paper Plate Show with Stegall and Sanchez. We just want to respond quickly to what the commissioner said today, his rules that he implemented that's going to be changed for the CFL. So just give our quick response, 2 or 3 minutes on each rule. And we'll start with the rule that won't be implemented till 2027, and that's the goalpost going from the front of the end zone to the back of the end zone. Thoughts on that, Chess?
I mean, essentially, the goalposts. I like. First of all, I like it. I like all these. All
Yep.
the one thing I walked away with. I was there. I'm actually just driving back from there now. And what? Well, I'm not driving, am I? Yeah, I'm driving. But that's why my camera's not on. There we go. My camera's not on, so it's okay. I was gonna see if I was gonna get in trouble here. But yeah, I'm driving back from there now. And what I left with, and I think the people that I talked to there kind of felt the same way. For the majority was that everything made a lot of sense. I don't think Stu Johnson did anything that was for attention. He didn't think he did anything under feeling pressure for anything, or just to make change. All of it was logical and makes sense, and I think for improving the game. And the one thing about the first one you mentioned, Milt, the goalpost, it just makes sense. I mean, essentially, there's a goalpost in the middle of the playing field because the end zone is 35 yards, however long the end zone was. Essentially, there's a goalpost in the middle of the playing field. It doesn't make sense. And the only reason that it would make sense is because it was there prior and it's always been there.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense for it to be there. So for injury, for just the play of the game, I love the change, and I'm happy with that one.
As an offensive coordinator, you can open up your entire playbook when you get down there in the red zone, because before, I mean, there were certain plays you couldn't call because you were worried about that goalpost being right in the middle of the field. You didn't want to throw across the middle of the field and have a chance where the quarterback's ball would hit the goalpost. We've seen it happen. It happens all the time. I mean, it doesn't happen every single game, but it happens enough where I'm totally satisfied with the goalpost being moved from the front of the end zone to the back of the end zone. So 100% on board with that. 100%. The next one is the end zone. This is in coordination with the goalpost. The end zones now are going from 20 yards to 15 yards, and the field is going from 110 yards to 100 yards. All these rules, these first 2 or 3 we talked about, won't be implemented till 2027, of course, because the teams, they need time to construct and get all this together. So the end zones, from 20 to 15 yards in the field, from 100 yards, from 110 yards to 100 yards. So thoughts on that one, Chaz?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense in regards to, I feel like in the CFL, there's a lot of plays that happen between the 35 and the 35, and it's because of the extra yard in the middle of the field. It feels to me, when you get it's more immediate. When you get to midfield, it's either, excuse the expression, but ish or get off the pot. You're at midfield. It's either going to be a successful play and you're in field goal range, or you're going to punt. There's not a bunch of plays going on between the 35 and the 35. I like the idea. Again, football fields, college, other leagues, and most places are 100 yards. I don't see any great reason that it has to be 110 yards. I like the change as well.
If you're going to move the goalpost back, you got to make it a little bit easier on the field goal kickers, opportunity to score. So you decrease the end zones from 20 yards to 15 yards, and you decrease the field to 100 yards to give them a better opportunity. So it's all in coordination. They're all, it's like the domino. They all domino effect. They all go with each other. So it's going to work out. People have to be patient. I know there's some people who don't want to see these changes happen. I understand that, but we have to be patient. This league has to grow. It has to evolve, and this is all part of it. So give it some time.
Adding to what you just said, I think you made a good point, Milt. Sorry to cut you. You made a good point. I just want to add to that all these things are in conjunction. And I did hear somebody say that if one of these rules didn't pass, none of them were going to pass. So it was kind of like these things all go together, like the size of the field, the changing of the size of the field, to the moving of the goalpost, to all of them went together. They're all they all fit together. So that's a good point that you make, and I think that was what Stu, along with the Board of Governors, that was part of it. I think they all had to go, or none of them were going to go.
And understand, every single team had to agree. It couldn't be 8 or 9 or majority. All 9 teams had to agree on all these rules for them to pass. So understand that the teams wanted these things to happen also. The next one, Chaz, and this put a smile on my face, baby. If you could see me right, you probably can't see. I'm not sure.
You were so excited about
Oh,
this.
my goodness, man. I may grow my hair back. I'm so excited about this one. The rouge, baby. Now, the rouge is still in play, but it's not like it was before. Before, and we've seen this in regular season games, you could have it where a guy, a field goal kicker could be attempting the field goal and could miss it. And if it went out of the back of the end zone or the side of the end zones, they get the 1 point. You could decide a game that way. That's not the case anymore. You can't decide it that way. You can't decide about somebody punting it through. There's still opportunity where you can get a rouge, you can get that 1 point, but it's not in that manner anymore. So Stu talked about that. He didn't want that to be the case by somebody being able to win a playoff game or a Grey Cup game in that manner. We've seen it in regular season games, but that's not going to be the case anymore because they've changed some of the rules with the rouge. I'm excited about that one, Chaz.
Yeah. See, I wasn't as strong as you with hating the rouge. I think I understood. Someone explained to me it from a perspective, the rouge and the perspective of you reward field position. And I already know your stance on this. I'm just giving the opposing stance in my thought process in regards to the rewarding field position. I mean, if you were able to move the ball just like in other games, if you move the ball to a certain place, that's the goal, to get to the other side of the field. You got there, you kicked it. It was just 1 point for getting there. I get that part of it. I also get that people look at it like it's crazy. If you miss, your goal is to kick the ball to the uprights. If you miss the uprights, you shouldn't get rewarded for missing. So I get it. I don't really care. I think it's fine. It's fine. I do like the fact that they got rid of that, but kept the fact of you still get a point if you don't bring the ball out of the end zone. So if it's a missed kick, if it's rolling around in the end zone, you still have to take it out. What's that doing is it's making sure that the kicking game, which everyone loves, is a big part of the game, is still impactful and still get lots of the kicking game. So I like that aspect of it. But yeah, that's the rouge. I think most people will be. I think everyone's going to be happy with most of these rules or not. I don't think there's going to be much opposition except for some traditionalists who just believe. And I think, what was the quote we just heard? I thought it was good, but somebody said about, things just changing for, the reason of changing, which I don't think is,
no.
You don't change things. You don't keep, you don't keep things just because that's the way they were.
Because that's the way they were.
That's not enough of a reason. There has to be logic behind. I think all these are fairly logical.
And I'll talk a little bit more about that in our closing remarks. But let's go to the last room change. It's part of game flow. Game flow will be improved with team benches moving to the opposite side of the field, and also an automatic 35-second play clock beginning as soon as the previous play is whistled dead. So before, it was based on the head referee's timing, when he wanted to blow the whistle
spotting
in.
of the ball and then blowing it in, right?
Yeah. So it was subjective. So now it's based on right when that ball is dead, is you got 35 seconds to get your play in. And some people feel this is going to slow down the game, but I guarantee you, these rules won't be implemented this one till 2026. Actually, time the time it takes from when the play is dead to when that referee blows in, and see how much time it is. It's at least 15 seconds, if not more. The game flow is going to be a lot faster.
Up.
Yeah.
Yes. So we both agree that this is actually going to speed the game up. So for those who think the 35, the 20 to 35 is going to slow the game down, it's opposite. It's going to speed the game up. Again, from a referee, and why it's subjective, because some referees will get to the ball faster, they'll mark it faster. Some crews are quicker than others, they'll blow the ball in faster, others take longer, and so that changes. It's subjective. Also, Milt, to your point, in a game of, in a close game, and depending how quick a guy moves, it can alter whether it's The timing of people getting plays off and success in the game. That takes away a lot of the human error in that. And it is what it is. You see the clock, you watch the clock, and you understand it's exactly 35 seconds from when the last play happened.
Yes. And I think we're both on board for these rules. And my closing remarks, I just want to make, there's a reason why these things are happening. This league has been around for a long time. And for it to continue being around for many more years, things had to change. And I say that because you have 7 of 9 teams who aren't making any money. And these owners who own these teams, they're worth millions, hundreds of millions, some maybe billions. But they didn't make their money by not being smart individuals. And if you think these individuals are going to continue losing money and continue doing the same thing over and over again, that's not going to happen. I guarantee they all say, we need to see some change. Now, we need to make some change or we're not going to continue doing this. So they all got together. They decided this was going to happen. And let's see how it works. Let's do our best effort to make sure this stuff works because we want this league to last for a long time. Because as I mentioned, these guys didn't make their money by not being smart. They're smart individuals, and they're not going to continue losing millions of dollars each and every year, seeing the same thing happen over and over again.
Stu Johnson, to add to that, Stu Johnson in his presser right off the gate, he talked about the changes, and he said that when he was appointed this job, the owners told him clearly that status quo was not acceptable. And he said that he went back to them with the same thought that status quo is not acceptable for him. And so therefore, part of what they're doing is not shy with making change, and not just to make change to our points earlier, but status quo is not acceptable. I don't think any of these changes, Milt, are going to change the bottom line of the CFL and the owners making money and these things. I don't think that's the case at all. But I do think what it did show me is that folks that are running things now, and that's part of the new ownership, that's part of the Lamar Domans, that's part of Edmonton ownership, that's part of part of Bob Young, and just all the owners that are smart businessmen. I think that they all love the game, but I don't think this showed me that they're not afraid to make changes to how it's been moved and how things have been ran. And that, to me, some other things, to your point, on the business side, and that tells me those things are going to start to change as well. And they're not afraid to move on because, as Stuart Johnson said, status quo is unacceptable.
There it is. Another episode of the Paper Plate Show with Stegall and Sanchez. Love you guys.